Hi everyone, and welcome back to Deep Talks Fast Learning. I'm Anna.
And I'm Mark. Today, we're asking an important question. Does childhood really shape our adult relationships?
We hear it all the time. You have trust issues because of your childhood, or your fear of abandonment comes from your early years. But how much of that is actually true?
Exactly. In this episode, we'll explore what science says about the connection between childhood experiences and adult relationships, and whether or not your past really defines your future.
1. The idea that childhood shapes adult relationships.
Let's start with the theory that childhood shapes how we relate to others as adults. This idea comes from attachment theory, developed by John Bowlby and expanded by Mary Ainsworth in the 20th century.
Attachment theory suggests that the way we bond with our caregivers as infants influences how we form relationships as adults. For example, if you had consistent and loving caregivers, you might develop a secure attachment style and feel comfortable with intimacy and trust. And if your caregivers were inconsistent or emotionally unavailable, you might develop an anxious or avoidant attachment style, leading to insecurity or emotional distance in relationships.
That sounds convincing, but is it really that simple? That brings us to the next point. What does science actually say about this connection?
2. What science says about the link.
That's a good question. While attachment theory is widely accepted, modern research shows that things are more complex than that.
Let's take a closer look at some research that supports the idea that childhood experiences influence adult relationships. 1. Longitudinal studies have shown that early attachment styles often carry into adulthood. A study by Hazan and Shaver in 1987 found that secure, anxious, and avoidant attachment styles in romantic relationships mirrored patterns from childhood. 2. Brain development research shows that early emotional experiences can shape how the brain responds to stress and connection. If you grew up in a stressful environment, your brain might become more reactive to conflict in adult relationships. 3. Studies on emotional regulation suggest that children who grow up in emotionally stable homes tend to develop better coping skills in adult relationships.
That's pretty convincing, right? But hold on. There's another side to this. Some studies challenge the idea that childhood experiences permanently shape adult relationships.
3. Why your childhood might not define your relationships.
Exactly. While attachment theory and some studies support the idea that childhood shapes adult relationships, other research shows that you can change and grow no matter what your early experiences were like.
Here's why. 1. Neuroplasticity. Research shows that the brain is capable of change throughout life. Even if early experiences shaped your attachment style, you can learn new patterns of behavior and emotional response as an adult. 2. Positive adult relationships. A study by Fraley et al. 2011 found that while early attachment plays a role, supportive relationships in adulthood can override negative childhood experiences and lead to secure attachment later in life. 3. Personality and resilience. Genetics, life experiences, and personal growth also influence how we handle relationships. Some people naturally develop emotional resilience, even if they had a difficult childhood.
So even if you had a challenging childhood, you're not locked into those patterns forever. And that leads us to the most important part, what you can do to build healthier relationships today.
4. Focus on what you can control.
Yes, dwelling on the past can make you feel powerless, but focusing on what you can control gives you the ability to change your future.
Here's how you can start shifting your relationship patterns. 1. Self-awareness. Recognize any patterns or triggers that might stem from childhood experiences. Second challenge. Negative beliefs. If you grew up feeling unworthy of love, start questioning that belief. 3. Seek support. Therapy and healthy relationships can help you build new emotional patterns. 4. Focus on the present. You can't change the past, but you can shape how you respond today. 5. Develop emotional security. Learning to trust yourself and others takes time, but it's possible.
The key is to shift your focus from the past to the present. You can't change your early experiences, but you can choose how you respond to them now. And that brings us to a powerful idea. You can rewrite your story.
5. Let's reframe the story.
Yes, you might have been shaped by your past, but you're not defined by it. You have the power to break free from old patterns and create new, healthy connections.
Healing isn't about undoing the past. It's about building a new future. Your brain and heart are adaptable. You can learn to trust, love, and connect in new ways. And that's why it's so important to be kind to yourself during the process. Healing takes time, but you have the ability to grow and change.
Let's take a moment to ground this idea with a motivational affirmation. This will help you focus on the present and release any negative thoughts about your past. Take a deep breath, close your eyes, and repeat after me. My past does not define me. I am capable of building healthy, loving relationships. I release any pain from my past and focus on the present. I am worthy of love and connection. I trust myself to create a life filled with peace and love.
That's it for today's episode of Deep Talks Fast Learning. If you found this helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need this message.
And let us know in the comments, do you think childhood shapes adult relationships, or do you believe that we can change the narrative? Thanks for joining us. Take care, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.